Coming up on iOS today, get out those shopping carts because we are going shopping on iOS.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust. This is Twit.
This episode of iOS Today is brought to you by Udacity. Gain in-demand tech skills in as little as 3 months with Udacity's part-time online tech courses. Visit udacity.com/twit and get 75% off any program with code TWIT75. Limited time offer. And by Raycon. Create your own soundtrack with Raycon. Right now, our listeners can get 15% off their Raycon order at buyraycon.com/iOS. And this podcast is supported by AT&T. If there are friends and family members you haven't talked to in a while, don't worry. It's never too late to reconnect. To help, AT&T is offering deals on the latest smartphones. It's not complicated. Everyone deserves something new. So AT&T is giving new and existing customers their best deals on every smartphone, even the latest ones. Restrictions and exceptions may apply. Visit att.com for details. Hello, and welcome to iOS Today. This is the show where we talk all things iOS, tvOS, watchOS, HomePod OS, all the OSs that Apple has on offer. I am back. I'm Micah Sargent, and am very thankful to Matthew Casanelli for stepping in and hanging out last week with Rosemary. It was a great show, and I think everything went swimmingly. Hopefully not too swimmingly that the people start calling for me to be replaced by Matthew, but it was good to have him on the show for a period of time. Yes. It was lovely to have him. For anybody who doesn't remember, he co-hosts Smart Tech Today with Mikah. So it's another show here on Twit you should check out. Yeah, absolutely. Well, this, I think, is going to be a fun episode. We've got Labor Day coming up, and honestly, it seems like every holiday comes with a whole host of deals and coupons and reasons to get out and get shopping. And so we thought that we would talk today about some of the different apps that are available on iOS to let you go shopping. And then I also have a little segment that is devoted to kind of managing your shopping once you've done it, because a lot of us are doing online shopping these days. I think more so than we ever have. And so you want to make sure that you're getting those packages that you ordered, or those 15 packages you ordered delivered to your doorstep or wherever they happen to be. But I thought this was a good opportunity because I tell you what, Rosemary seems to find some really good deals over there in the UK. And one of the places that she goes is one that I'm curious to hear more about, although I'm also interested to hear about your complaints with the app itself. So what's your first one today?
Okay, well, my first pick, and these are somewhat alphabetized just because that's the way the automation I use puts everything. My first pick is AliExpress, and I'm going to open the app here. And so if you're looking at this on the video, you'll be seeing exactly why I don't really like the app. It doesn't look like a native iPhone app to start with. And that's not to say that if it's not native, it's terrible. But wow, this looks like something kind of from the 90s with like flash ads and everything. And oh, wow. It has default searches and so on, which is just a little weird. But either way, AliExpress itself is a great service. And that is because you can get things directly from the company that produces them. So, for example, Aqara, who make a lot of smart home sensors. I picked the vibration sensor off of my office chair before I started recording today. And I've got lots of their sensors. I love their stuff. You can buy Aqara sensors directly from China here, and they are much cheaper than you would pay from Amazon, or if you're in the EU where you can buy them from the Apple Store. Of course, they're considerably cheaper than from there as well. And of course, it works just like a regular shopping app. There is this feed, which is kind of like recommending random things. It has some really weird stuff in there sometimes. And shops can send you messages once you bought things from them. So I bought some stuff from the Keychron store. Keychron makes some really lovely fancy keyboards. This is my Keychron right here. It's RGB. I love it. And you can buy directly from Keychron on AliExpress. So instead of going through the Keychron store, you can go on AliExpress and get it the same way, same price or a little bit cheaper even. And they can send me things as well. which is good fun. Oh, tap the wrong button there. And what I find really interesting and what I like about AliExpress, because I'm sure everybody has had this when they bought something from a third-party seller on Amazon, or they bought something on eBay and it doesn't arrive, right? It goes missing in the post, it gets delayed, it doesn't show up or whatever. What I love about AliExpress is you've got these 4 order states here. So unpaid. So once you paid for it, obviously it goes into to be shipped, and then it goes shipped. And then after that, usually there's a confirm. So you can say that you've confirmed that it's arrived. So I don't actually have any outstanding orders right now on AliExpress. But if I did, then once it arrived, I would open up the app and I'd go in and I'd check off the items. And you go through and you tick off the items that you've received and you say that this is all here. And so AliExpress acts as, they stand between you and the seller. So there are multiple sellers on AliExpress, and then that allows you to, confirm that you've received it. I presume at which point the seller receives their money. So please do make sure to do that because, these sellers rely on your sales. But what I also like is when I pop back into the orders, I tapped on shipped there. I should have tapped on view all. I can go back and I can look and I can go, aha, yes. Okay, this was the store with these fancy light switches in. So I can tap on this and I can go back to the listing, which is really useful, of course, if you want to share something that you've bought previously with people. So these are some multi-button light switches, which are wireless, by the way. So you can stick them anywhere on your wall. And then each button has 3 options. So single press, double press, and press and hold. So that means that this 6-button one in the bottom right has 18 buttons on it, Mikah. 18 buttons of configurability. It's amazing. What you do need to watch out for, and one of the reasons why I picked this, is some stuff will take a while to arrive. It's coming from China. It could get put on a slow boat. It might have got stuck on the Ever Given. That's a possibility. But you can see here, I've got 10-day free shipping. So that means it will arrive in 10 days. And I can say from my personal experience, it gets there in less than 10 days. If they say it's 10 days, it'll be there. You don't have to worry about that, which is excellent. And for anybody curious, the Yi Sailing factory store is one that I have used multiple times. I also bought a blue toothbrush from them because these are wonderful. I chucked this one in my car. It's not like a Sonicare or anything. It's not as fancy as that, but it's a pretty good electric toothbrush to have in your car for less than $15.
You can brush your car's teeth.
Yeah. Your car needs its teeth brushing all the time. No, at the moment I've got braces, and that means I have to clean my teeth after every meal to pop my braces back in. And so I thought, oh darn! For the time that I forget to stick my toothbrush in my handbag, you know what? I'm gonna just shove one in the glove box of my car, and
very smart.
Then there we go. So so I mostly use this honestly for buying stuff like Xiaomi and a car accessories, because it's a cheap way to get it. There's this little battery-powered mosquito repellent. And a little background about me. I'm allergic to mosquito bites. Don't recommend it. So I ordered this and it's going with me on my trip next week. I'm going on a trip. There will probably be mosquitoes. So this one is battery-powered, which means it's very easy to take with you, unlike the ones that you plug into a wall, and it recharges via USB-C. Perfect.
I assume by that you mean you have a very severe reaction to mosquito bites as opposed to the general allergic reaction, which is just a tiny bump that is itchy for most people. Yours is much more intense.
Yeah, so it starts out as a tiny itchy bump in about 3 seconds after I've been bitten, and then it expands quite rapidly and is incredibly painful and uncomfortable. I would not recommend it. And like every allergic reaction, people, if you get an allergic reaction, you've got to be careful. It will get worse the more you're exposed to the thing that causes that reaction. So you don't want to keep, if you're allergic to bananas, stop eating bananas. So same applies here. If you're allergic to mosquito bites, try and avoid being bitten by mosquitoes. I have the bands. I have my good old mosquito repeller from AliExpress. And I'm looking forward to using it.
For the record there, I was just saving you from all the pedants who would email and go, everybody's allergic to mosquito bites. That's why they have the little itchy bumps. And so just getting that clarification there helps all those pedants realize what you mean whenever you say that. When your entire thigh goes bright red from one tiny little mosquito bite, that's when you know you've got a problem. Yeah, seriously. Yikes. I think AliExpress is fun for, like you shown there. There are all these different little items that you can think, oh my goodness, that would be a super convenient thing to have. And they're hard to find in other places. Like AliExpress just has these things automatically. And it's sometimes you just go through and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool to have. That's kind of cool to have. And as we're showing right now on the screen, this can be a great place to get component parts. If you know a thing or two about soldering or doing some sort of electrical work, I really like that you can head there. You can buy some of these little component parts that you can use to fix things. I had a smart hub of mine go bad, and I thought, instead of setting it back, I'm going to open it up and see what's going on inside. And I did. And it was just one of the little components were not attached anymore. It had broken. And so I was able to order a replacement for it. Of course, couldn't just order one. It was like 10 of them because it was like $1 for 10 of them. But then I was able to install the new one and it worked just fine after that. So it's kind of like modern day Radio Shack for people in the United States if they're looking for ways to replace that. The only thing that one needs to keep in mind is the difference in shipping because Rosemary and I recently ran into this not too long ago. You showed a really cool product that I really wanted to get, but unfortunately they don't ship to the United States. And so when you go to the link that she had shared, it just didn't pop anything up because that product was not available to ship to the United States for any number of reasons. So I was a little bummed about that. And we talked about some other ways of making that happen. But the point is just be aware that what is available to you might not be available by everybody out there who's listening to this. What Rosemary is showing, maybe those things are not available to you, but it's worth definitely looking to see.
In the case of the clock, I think, Mikah, because that was a Bluetooth e-ink clock, I've got it above my desk. I'd reach up and grab it, but it's Velcroed up there pretty strong. And so it's going to make a horrible noise. And I'm going to have to lean over the camera and the microphone and knock everything out. And I think our lovely folks in the studio might get a tad upset about that. But if you have a hunt around through different sellers, you can often find exactly the same thing. They've all got the same context as the same factory. They're just buying them directly. The only thing I'll say about the Aqara stuff is it will frequently come in the original Aqara packaging. Now Aqara is in EU Apple stores, not in all of them, but Spain, France, Germany, the UK are some of the places they are. I know for a fact they're not in Portugal because I have a friend who lives in Portugal. He was disappointed. So they have new packaging. And so, of course, they're selling off all the old stuff with the old packaging, which, of course, makes you make sure you get it a little cheaper. And who doesn't love a good deal?
Indeed. All right. Let's talk about the next one. This is one that's near and dear to my heart because as a sort of craftsy person, I have gotten a number of great patterns from this site for doing crochet work. And also I made the mistake of looking up here. Let me switch my camera over. I made the mistake of looking up dice at one point, and now my whole feed is filled with gorgeous dice. Oh man, they're very good at showing off. At finding stuff that you'd be really into.
The lilac blue and green. Oh my gosh, those are so pretty.
And then these are crochet patterns. Oh, did you?
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, I got 3 sets of dice for Christmas. I got ones with llamas on, which I'm pretty certain my friend got me from Etsy. Etsy's just a great place to get all sorts of unique things. You do need to watch out a little from time to time with Etsy, because a lot of the things where if you see the same thing on multiple stores, it's quite possible that those people have been on AliExpress and they've done exactly what Mikah said with the components. They bought 10 of something and they're selling it off because that unfortunately happens. Etsy used to crack down on this and stopped companies doing that. And then they realized that they're making money out of it anyway. So they stopped doing that. But there are also plenty of sellers doing beautifully hand-turned wood parts or, handmade things and so on. And if
3D printer people.
Around,
it's a great place to go to get those.
Something I showed off on iOS today. I'm just going to look in my purchase history and see if I can pull it up, because for iOS today, we were talking about, not iOS today, Smart Tech Today. I think I guessed it with Matthew while you were actually out, Mikah. And we were talking about how you couldn't get an AirTag for an Apple TV remote, or it wasn't built in. And so I 3D printed this, I bought the 3D, the file to print this from Etsy. As you can see, it was £1.81. I think it was even cheaper back then. It was less than $2, that's for sure. And I printed this part, and I put my Apple TV remote in it. And then, my Apple TV remote got stuck, and that was quite unfortunate because I printed it just a little too tight. I should have added a little bit of ease on there. My printer is not quite calibrated, but it's a great place to get all sorts of custom stuff. And also some sellers, you need to check in the shop description, but some sellers will also make custom things for you to your spec based on other things that they've done if you correspond with them backwards and forwards, which is really lovely. And I've had some fantastic experiences with Etsy sellers. They really do go above and beyond. And I'm genuinely impressed by them. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that's the best part about Etsy, in my opinion, is that you are in most cases working more closely with the person. And so you get to have that back and forth. You get to be supporting someone directly, but also it means that if you do have changes that you'd like or different, adjustments, that it's most likely that they're going to be able to accommodate you in that way. So where I have used it mostly for patterns, you can also go on and buy little dolls and things like that. And then maybe you message the seller and say, hey, I was wondering if I could have this with a green hat instead of this, or what have you. I remember back whenever I lived in Missouri, the winters obviously get very, 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 very cold there. And I've got 2 small dogs. And so I have on occasion purchased some overcoats for them whenever they go outside to use the restroom and also for walks and whatnot. And the seller that I worked with was very good about, making changes, making adjustments, making sure the measurements were just right. So that's one of the great things I think about Etsy, that you obviously, if you buy from a big brand, you're not going to necessarily get that level of back and forth and the ability to sort of customize things exactly how you want them.
Yeah, it really is wonderful. And I've bought a lot of printed planner inserts from Etsy. I often use paper planners as a solution to help me plan my individual day. I've got my big task management, obviously, on digitally, but then I plan out my actual day on paper. And so I bought custom inserts for my planners from people on Etsy. And some of those have been printed. Some of those have been printing myself, and the sellers have been lovely. I'm really glad Etsy exists as a way to connect with directly with some really cool creative people.
Yeah, very cool. All right. What is next on your list?
Well, the next one is unfortunately a little hard to demo unless I take everybody on a field trip to my local supermarket, which I'm not going to do because they don't have great connection in there. The data connection is pretty terrible. So I'm just going to talk about this. And this is the Sainsbury's SmartShop app. Now, there's also Asda Scan and Go, and a lot of other supermarkets have got a very similar thing here in the UK. But the idea is you walk in, you grab a basket or a trolley, whichever shopping cart is trolley for you Americans, and you can pick up one of their handsets, or, there's a pandemic going on. Maybe we just keep our hands to ourselves a little more. And this way you scan everything on your phone. And then when you're done, you go out to the checkout and you scan a barcode on the checkout and you pay and you go. And there is a chance that they'll stop you and double check the things in your bag, or if you bought alcohol or something, somebody will need to come and verify that you're an adult. But you don't actually have to go to a cashier. Or even if you do go to a cashier, they've got a little barcode on their checkout, which you can scan, and it transfers everything that you've scanned directly onto their system. And it's brilliant. I really love it. So I can show you how it starts. So it says, hello, Rosemary. I'm already signed into the app. I've got a list option here where I can add things to my shopping list and check it. And then I can start a shop. Now, I'm not in a supermarket. I'm not in a Sainsbury's right now, so I can't do this, but I could get directions to the nearest store. I'm not going to do that. But this is great. It's another way of keeping an extra set of hands off of my shopping. Because, I don't really need to make somebody go through and scan all this stuff. I usually use the self-checkout anyway, where I scan my own items. Exactly. And this just saves me the trouble, because when you're doing this, especially if you've got a shopping cart, then you can just put everything directly into your bags in the cart. And so you don't you buy frozen or chilled stuff, you put it straight in a cool bag and it keeps nice and cold. And it's wonderful. So if there's something like this where you are, then I highly recommend it. But it works great. You just scan the barcode and it shows you the price and it shows you the totals you're going as well, which is really handy if you're on a budget or something. Or in my case, if I'm shopping for my grandmother and she's given me a certain amount of money and she says, don't spend more than this, then I can make sure that I keep on top of that for her.
That is very cool. I like the idea of just getting to, because I use the self-checkout if I'm not just ordering groceries from home. Yeah. So it's kind of nice that you can sort of do your own thing as you're going and then just boop and out we go. That's very nice. Now, this next one I am really excited about because this is an app that I think is not super well known as an app specifically, and they've added a lot of features in the last year or so that have really made this one even better. So why don't you tell us about Shop from Shopify?
Yeah. So for anybody not familiar, to start with, Shopify is a shop backend. So it's how a lot of web shops, like for example, the Tom Benz store, actually have their online shop. They don't code all of this themselves. They get in a third party that does it for them. And Shop is a third party application which integrates with that and a whole bunch of other things. You might see there's some A's here. That's from Amazon, where it's also integrated with my Amazon stuff to track my Amazon order. And hey, look at this. There's something green here that Micah might like to see later. And some curtains I ordered, my hard drive, and it allows me to track things. And it automatically pulls in orders based on my Shopify account because I use the same email everywhere I shop with Shopify. And also I've connected it to my Amazon account as well for testing here. I can also go ahead if I wanted to manually add an order. I can add a tracking number, a package name, and a carrier. And I could also search for a tracking number inside of my email. I'm not going to do that right now because most of it's already here anyway. I did this a couple of days ago in advance of the show. But it's great because it does just track things really well. At the moment, one of my packages is actually taking a detour to LA, and this app was one of the first to let me know. So I was thoroughly impressed when I found out about this. And I love the fact that it just integrates with Shopify because there are so many online shops using this as their backend that it really, it makes it much easier to keep on top of all of those deliveries coming my way.
Nice. Yes. I think that the simplicity of being able to have those just all automatically pop up is really nice. And then all of the extra stuff. So Shop, if we click on sustainability, just to hear the whole thing about that is that if you use Shop Pay for it, then you start to get a readout of the trees that you've helped save because it automatically will sort of try to help balance your carbon output. And I don't know if that's just a US thing. I don't know if you have that with yours, Rosemary.
I do have a sustainability section inside of my app, which I'm just going to pull up here. So this is inside my account, and it's just showing me that together we've planted over 1 million trees. Wonderful. And then I can choose to share this to plant more trees. So I could share that with you, Mike, or I could share that on Twitter. I will leave that until after the show, I think. And yes. No, I don't want you to open Instagram. I was swiping up. Because there we go.
So I really like that. I think that it's cool that just by using Shop Pay, which is already a very handy thing, you type in your phone number online and then it automatically can get it set up for Shop Pay is really cool. But then being able to track it every step of the way in the app. And there have been a few times where I maybe had forgotten to log into the site online with my user account. And so being able to go into the app afterwards because I use Shop Pay and see my order without having to go and look up the order and type it in and you got to remember this or that to get it working. That's also very handy. So Shop has helped save me time as well, and also just sort of kept my anxiety down about making sure that I am getting the thing that I ordered for sure. All right, let us take a quick break before we come back with some options to help you track those things you're ordering online. But first, I want to tell you about Udacity. Listen, Udacity offers a unique part-time online education program that's geared for those who are looking to take their tech knowledge to the next level. They've got specialized and exciting content. Udacity offers the latest cutting-edge nano degree programs, many of which are not available anywhere else. Listen to these. There's AI, deep learning, flying car and autonomous flight engineer, intro to self-driving cars, machine learning engineer, and robotics software engineer. To create the course content, Udacity partners with industry leaders such as Microsoft, Google, IBM, AWS, and more, and selects team leads at top companies to be the instructors. Yes, the instructors come from these companies. If you love learning and are always looking to know more new tech stuff, Udacity is for you. Udacity can help you master the latest tech skills and techniques. They're courses that are project-based with active learning that covers cutting-edge technology and lets you test your knowledge. Homework and projects are reviewed by qualified professionals, as in real human beings. You're going to have real human feedback and reviews with access to mentors 24/7. Udacity's flexible schedule mean that you can put in just 5 to 10 hours a week working at your own pace any time of the day or night and graduate in as little as 3 months. Now, maybe you're going, okay, that's cool, but I could use some more motivation for why I should check this out. Well, the World Economic Forum estimates that 75 million jobs will be replaced by automated processes within the next 3 years. Udacity prepares its students for the jobs of the future. More than 14 million people in more than 240 countries now use Udacity. You can check out their detailed course listings at udacity.com. Once you enroll as a student in a specific course offering, you'll be prompted to view the online course as well as complete a series of projects and support courses. They offer flexible payment options and you can learn at your own pace and schedule. Oh, and did we mention that Udacity also has free courses? I started a free course over my little time off about Python. The beginner course for Python, it was a free course. And then they've got an advanced or intermediate course that's available with those flexible payment options. And for those of you who are looking to skill up your team, maybe your team needs to master cutting edge technologies like data science or AI and cybersecurity. Well, with Udacity for Enterprise, you can upskill your entire workforce with real world project-based learning. Be sure to check out the Enterprise section of Udacity's website today. Get the in-demand skills you need to advance your career. Visit udacity.com/twit and get 75% off any program with code TWIT75. It's a limited time offer. That's udacity.com/twit and enter TWIT75. Our thanks to Udacity for sponsoring this week's episode of iOS Today. All right, back from the break, let's talk about tracking packages. And this first one is one that I know you adore and have talked about before. It's Parcel.
Yeah, it's Parcel. So I used to be a fan of the next app you're going to talk about, Mikah, so I'm not going to steal your thunder. But recently I switched to a new app called Parcel. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I love it. First of all, if I do this and switch back, you can just about see at the top, there we go, the icon. It's a little rainbow because you can change the icon. And I love the fact that I can choose various app icons and there's a 6 colors one, of course. There's also a test flight designed style one. The default icon's a little boring. It's a brown box on a peachy beige background. But either way, you can go ahead and change the icon. Here's a little pro tip for you. If you're trying to change an app icon and you go back to your home screen and it's not changed, reboot your iPhone and try again. It's an iOS bug. But what I love about Parcel is it's got Amazon integration. So if I pop over to Amazon, you can see amazon.co.uk, it's active. And I'm just going to tap plus so that I can go ahead and add another Amazon. So if I wanted to sign into amazon.com, then I would tap on this. It comes up with the sign in. I go through the sign in flow. And then Parcel, when I've done that, will automatically pull in all of my Amazon purchases for me until the cookie expires at the end of the month, at which point it'll go, hey, can you come do the sign in flow again for me, please? At which point you do it and you're good. You can also do things like change your day counters. So my day counter is days till delivery. And if I just pop back and say done, you can see this Rocket Book that was on sale today. That was an Amazon Treasure Truck special. I'm looking forward to trying that out. Has a 2 here instead of a van because it's expecting to come on Sunday. And I can, of course, change this option. I can filter. I can say just my recent deliveries. So I had some new curtains come today, or I can show completed deliveries, all deliveries. I usually filter for active deliveries. When you tap on the plus, then you have to put in a tracking number. You've got a scanner. So, if you've got a barcode, you can scan that in. And you can toggle on the flash there as well. And then you select your carrier. Now, it will automatically try to select your carrier for you, which is really helpful. And of course, iOS 15 tip for people who are already running the iOS 15 beta, you can also scan text, which means that it'll actually read something. So I had a receipt recently with the tracking number on it. And I was able to use that scan text feature straight into Parcel. And that's iOS 15. I love that. But basically, it works as a great tracking application for me. You can use their web integration as well, so that you can automatically forward emails to Parcel. Which is, quite useful. It supports 300 carriers. I had a carrier that was not supported. I emailed them. They tweaked something in their backend, and bam, that carrier is now available. I think it was just a case of an extra name for the same carrier because it was done so quickly. But I'm really impressed by them. They seem like wonderful people. It's $2.99 a year to get push notifications. It's incredibly cheap. I love it. The app works really well. I'm impressed. The only thing I'll note is if you do have two-factor authentication enabled on Amazon, then you may find that the Amazon integration doesn't work quite as well. But what you can do is you can have, say, for example, G Suite, Google Mail, iCloud, FastMail, use those rules to automatically forward emails to Parcel, and it will automatically parse all of that out, which works really well with some of the other integrations we're going to talk about in a minute, Micah.
Yes, indeed. Parcel, very cool. And I was using it for a while. But for me, it ended up because it seems to work really well for you. And I know a lot of people, especially outside of the United States, have really good luck with Parcel. I have long been a Deliveries user and ended up switching back to it after I had some syncing issues and the problems with Amazon's integration actually working for me. So I ended up switching back to the one that I'm talking about, which is Deliveries. It's available to download for free. And then an in-app purchase of 99 cents a month or $4.99 a year will get you the full Deliveries experience. With Deliveries, you have, it's very similar to Parcel. You've got the ability to add a barcode or add a specific tracking number, and then it will suggest something to you based on what carrier it thinks you're trying to use. Here you can see I've got some recent things that were delivered to me. And so those all have check marks next to them. But if I were to tap on one, you can see that it actually shows you the history of how the package has been around. And also, luckily, this is a zoomed out view, showing where it came from, like where it originated and where it's gone to. So again, very similar to the other apps that are out there. And then where Parcel has had the ability to automatically import your Amazon orders. What Deliveries does is you can log in with your Amazon account, and then it will let you import the orders after you've logged in. So you can sort of manually import. I would show you that, but then it's going to show a bunch of personal details. So I'll just tell you how to do it. In the top right corner, you hit the plus button, and then you choose import from a website, in this case, Amazon.com. When you tap on that, it'll take you to the Amazon website. You'll log in, and then in the top right corner, again, it will say add, and then it'll have a number of orders that are available to import. You tap on that, and then you can choose from them to import directly into Deliveries. From there, it will give you regular notifications for when your packages are being sent. I have Deliveries on all of my devices. So my iPad and my Mac and my iPhone, they're all synced together and will give me notifications in those different places so that I can keep track of my packages as they are either delivered or not delivered, depending on how things are going. Yeah, I think the most common place that I see notifications for Deliveries is definitely on my Apple Watch, where then I can know, okay, this is out for delivery today and I'm good to go. So I really like Deliveries, and I think Parcel is great as well. I think for people in the United States, Deliveries is great, but I have heard from people outside of the United States that Deliveries does not give folks what they need. And so Parcel seems to be the one that can work there. So yeah, it's just kind of up to you on which one you want to use if you are in the United States in particular, because they both offer some great functionality that's pretty similar between the two. But I've tried a few other package tracking apps that are out there, and none of them hold a candle to Parcel and Deliveries. With Shop kind of coming in underneath that as a sort of automated approach. But yeah, I really like Parcel and Deliveries.
Same. There's a lot of good things to be said about them. I particularly love the fact that with the email, both of them support email adding. You can just forward an email and bam, it's right there. Parcel definitely recommends doing it automatically. I believe originally Deliveries suggested not using an email filter. I believe they may have changed their advice on that one though. So have a look on their website, because being able to just forward email to an email address when you get a package really speeds that up.
Oh, that's really
wonderful.
Handy.
Yeah. Especially if you, like me, create a rule or a custom action, in AirMail to just go swipe all the way across, and then bam, it gets forwarded on to the parcel tracking app of your choice.
Nice. All right. These next ones that we're going to talk about, they're not apps. This is just some tips that I wanted to give everybody, because I often find I'll mention this in passing, and then folks will be like, wait, you can do that? That's awesome. And I helped my grandma get this set up. I've helped other family members and friends get this set up. And it's a great way to keep track of packages that are coming your way, be they ones that you ordered or ones that other people have ordered for you or what have you. Or in the case of if you buy Apple gadgets, and Apple notoriously likes to wait until the day of or the day before to tell you that your package is on its way. But you can get an early glimpse of where the package is in the whole world by way of these options. So the three that I'm going to talk about are USPS's Informed Delivery Service, FedEx Delivery Manager, and UPS My Choice. Each of these are a system that the individual delivery companies offer that give you a heads up on the packages or parcels that are coming your way. So if you live in the United States, and we'll include links to all of these, if you live in the United States, you can go to informeddelivery.usps.com to sign up for this. And what happens is you create an account, you verify that you are you, and then from that point on, because of the way that the mail system works in the United States, as mail is coming and being sorted and sent to you, mail is scanned. The front of the mail is scanned. So there is a digital photo of the mail that's coming your way every single day that's available to be shown to you. So when you sign up for Informed Delivery, then you will get an email that has a digital photo of the mail that is headed your way that you should be getting in your mailbox that day. And then if you don't get that mail that day, you can actually go into the email and there's an option to click and say, I didn't get this, or I did get this. And then it also, once you've signed up, if you've got packages headed your way that day, those will also be displayed there with their tracking number. So it's just a really good preemptive option for you to make sure that you are getting all of your mail and that it is arriving when it's expected to arrive and it didn't get lost or something like that. So very handy there. Same thing goes for these next two. With FedEx Delivery Manager, this one I'll just, I'm not going to read out the URL because it's a little bit more complicated, but FedEx Delivery Manager, sign up for this as well. Once again, you do need to prove your identity and that you do live where you say you live. But at that point, anytime something pops up in FedEx's database with your name and your home address, then you will get a notification if you set it up that way, letting you know that you have a package that's on its way. That way you'll get the tracking number as soon as it's available. You will have the information for it. And then it also gives you some options that you wouldn't get otherwise very easily, including setting a hold on it or having it routed to a place or going ahead and signing for the package, even if you're not going to be home. So all of those things are very handy with the FedEx Delivery Manager. But the most important one is as soon as someone buys company buys the label, the shipping label, and is getting ready to send it to you, you get a notification immediately as soon as it's in the database. So when I've placed orders to companies that are sending things my way, even before they've shipped the package, as soon as they've gone in their system, whatever system they might use, and they bought a FedEx shipping label, then I get an email saying, hey, there's something that's going to be headed your way soon. And then I can go ahead and have it tracked in Deliveries, ready to go. And then the last one I'll mention is UPS My Choice. This one's pretty easy, ups.com/UPS My Choice, which again works the same way as FedEx. As soon as your name and your address pops up in their system, they will give you notifications. What's kind of funny is UPS My Choice is a little more lax, I've noticed, than FedEx or USPS. And so when my childhood home, my sister and her husband, my brother-in-law, live there now. And like all of our childhood home, they live there now. And so I will occasionally get UPS My Choice emails. And they're from, different baby stores and things like that, because it's my sister buying my niece clothing or what have you. So they're a little bit more lax. If you've ever had an address in their system and you sign up for UPS My Choice, you can get notifications from all the different ones. You can just turn it off. But again, it's another way to make sure that as soon as that hits their system, you are aware of it and you're not waiting on a company to kind of come through and put that information in for you to know about. So all three are great for making sure you're on top of your mail. And then as Rosemary was pointing out, this is also a great way to immediately get those popped over to Parcel or Deliveries, depending on which one you use. And then Rosemary, I think you wanted to mention a few more that are especially great outside of the US.
Yeah. So I know living in German-speaking countries, DHL are incredibly popular. And if you sign up in their app and on their website, you can, or at least last I checked, you could get notifications as well. Personally, I found if I sign up in the app for DHL, Hermes, Royal Mail, or Yodel, then I will actually get push notifications about my parcel as they come. DPD is the other one. DPD deliver a lot of Apple goods over here. So you're going to want to make sure that you are signed up with that, at least here in the UK. And that is incredibly useful, especially when I was able to say, but no, my parcel is not here. And they said, oh, the GPS tracking is incorrect. We're going to send the person back to pick that up. And they redelivered it. Fortunately, it turned out they'd left it outside my parents' store, which was another address. It was my fallback address. It's only on the other side of town. If I'd known, I'd have gone and got it myself. But there we go. So yeah, if you sign up in those apps, I personally, even though I use Parcel myself, I still have all of the shipping apps installed on my phone, because every so often, something will go wrong somewhere. One of my parcels briefly took a detour to Australia, at least according to Parcel. Turned out, no, it went to Lancashire. Botany Bay is in both places. It's in Australia and in Lancashire.
Oh, wow.
And Parcel just assumed the famous one in Australia, which of course is beautiful, but incorrect, at least as far as this was concerned.
Wow. Botany Bay. Very... I really like the name Botany Bay, but yes. Let's go ahead and move on. Just a couple more mentions. One is just a quick mention. Of course, we would be remiss if we didn't mention Amazon. Amazon is a great way to order packages in your on your phone, on your smartphone, on your iPad, and be able to keep track of those products. I think they've gotten even better in terms of making sure that if your package is not delivered or there's something there, that you do get a refund or replacement. I've had that experience a couple of times and it's gone quite well. Whereas in the past, It would be like a really long back and forth of trying to make it work. And I mean, you can get in-app notifications for your packages. I use the Amazon Key service so that my packages are delivered inside of my garage. All of that, super easy to do. And just a quick mention of Amazon there. If you have anything you want to add.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention Amazon Delivery Day is quite useful. It means that all of your packages will arrive on, you can select 2 delivery days per week. But if you select a delivery day, then that means that those parcels are going to come on that day. I frequently change my delivery day when I know I'm not going to be at home for a couple of days. And then I'll set it to a day when I know I'm going to be at home and have everything come in on that day. So instead of having stuff trickle in over the week, which is not as good for the environment, they usually try to combine the boxes. They don't always succeed. I have had a delivery day recently where they managed to put everything in an individual box, which really defeated the point of delivery day. But most of the time, they're very good about this. And also, don't forget Amazon. Keep an eye on your push notifications and emails, because higher price goods, at least over here in the UK recently, they have started requiring the delivery person get a verification code from you to deliver higher priced goods like Stream Decks or a Belkin charger that I recently purchased. So make sure that you keep an eye on those emails yourself, even if you're forwarding them to a tracking service.
Yes. All right. The last one we'll mention is IKEA, which is another popular app. And one of the things that I like about, and company, one of the things that I like about IKEA is that they have traditionally, or I guess in the past, have kind of taken advantage of some of Apple's different features, including the ability to sort of AR place some of their furniture in your space so you can see how it looks and how it would be set up. And then if you live in the right places, you can get these things delivered to your home rather easily. If you don't live in the right places, it can get very expensive, which is what I learned back before there was one close by where I lived. It was very pricey to be able to order some IKEA furniture.
Yes, though I will give people a tip. If you are ordering, especially smaller, lighter goods, if you order them, I believe it's a local FedEx location in the US is the delivery point. Here, it's a DPD pickup point. If you order them to that location, then you can get things incredibly cheaply. So I ordered an assortment of the IKEA shortcuts buttons and two of their toggle buttons, which don't appear in HomeKit. And I got them delivered to my local DPD place for just £2, which is great.
Oh, wow.
I will
That's
also
really
give
good.
a quick nominal mention to their wish list feature, where if you create a wish list, then it will actually show you where things are in store if stuff is in store. Unfortunately, practically everything on my list here is out of stock. But there we go. This is in the cooking and eating section, and you can see that's in stock, and there's 122 of them. But unfortunately, the next item in the cooking and eating section is out of stock. So apparently I'm planning on buying a lot of expensive things. This is what happens when you start thinking about kitchen remodels, people. It gets expensive.
Pricey real quick. But yes, that feature that's right here in this bin. And I mean, that's something we can mention in general. A lot of different apps, the Walmart app, for example, the Target app, they have those same kinds of aisle tracking features. And I often use those. If there's something I'm specifically going to, I will pop into the app and find it in there so that I can figure out which aisle it's on. And then you can pop up a map of this store and see right where it is. And I'm like, 37C, I'm headed right there. I don't have to be in the store for very long. This is great. So definitely look out for those as you are doing in-person shopping for a kind of convenient way to take care of that. All right. That brings us to the end of the first segment of the show, which means we've got news next. Before we get there, though, I do want to tell you about Raycon, who are bringing you this episode of iOS Today. Listen, do you feel like you need some upbeat music as you head to a social gathering? Have you found yourself feeling kind of anxious and needing to calm down with some guided meditation? No matter how you're feeling about getting back out there, there's no denying it's an adjustment. When the world gets too loud, something we love to do is just create a soundtrack by popping in Raycon's wireless earbuds. You pop them in and you get to go in peace. All right, so let me just say, Raycon are the best way to listen. They come with a bunch of gel tips for your comfort, and unlike some other brands, they don't stick out of your ears. Raycons have a 32-hour battery life, so you can listen to what you want, when you want, for a really long time. They start at half the price of other premium audio brands, but they sound just as good. And Raycons come with a 45-day happiness guarantee, so you really can't lose. Give them a try, and you'll see what we mean. Now, I have talked before about Raycons. The thing that I like about them, those gel tips. There's so many different options, different sizes that you can choose from, so you get the perfect fit. So you pop those in, and whether you're going to the gym or you are going grocery shopping, as we were just kind of talking about earlier, you don't have to be so worked up as we are all kind of getting used to getting back into the swing of things, where you can sort of halfway step into it. You got your playlist going with your Raycons in your ears, and they're not like sticking out. They're not super obvious. So it's just kind of a halfway point. It's really quite nice. You out there can create your own soundtrack with Raycon. Right now, our listeners can get 15% off their Raycon order at buyraycon.com/iOS. That's buyraycon.com/iOS to save 15% on Raycons. Thanks so much to Raycon for sponsoring this week's episode of iOS Today. That's buyraycon.com/iOS. All right. I'm really excited because Rosemary told me before the show that she's got an update for us. We talked before about your Chipolo, which is the third-party tracker that works with Apple's Find My network. And tell us what's going on.
Well, my parents are on a trip to France, and I'm actually going to be joining them next week. And so I asked them to do me a huge favor, to ignore the weird beeping coming from the bag in the back. So I threw a Chipolo one spot in a bag that's with my parents on its way to France. And I just wanted to say, because people have shipped AirTags all over the world, but I don't think anybody's going to do that with a Chipolo. So I have done it for us here. And as you can see, my parents are currently on the road traveling down in France. And it's working really well. I was able to check in earlier. They were at a supermarket. And if I tap on this, and it'll show me where it is. It's currently on the A28 in Grande-Lavière in France, or it was 26 minutes ago. So I'm getting updates somewhat infrequently, and there's 2 iPhones in the car, but they've yet to report any beeping from it, unlike the other day when my dad borrowed my car key and he brought it back 2 hours later and said, oh, by the way, it started beeping, and I got a notification on my phone that said that there's something with me. This is less than 8 hours. Why are you telling him that? He doesn't need to know. But also, I completely understand it. It was fine that he knew, because he knows that I misplace things like my car keys. So this is working really well. I'm pleased with it. I'm going to keep tracking it as I go. As you can see, it doesn't have those beautiful Find My directions with the navigation of waving your phone around, which I may or may not have used recently to locate some misplaced items that we'll get to at the end of the show. But it can pop me out to maps and give me directions to 271 miles away. 5 hours is what it reckons it'll take me to get to my suitcase. I think it'll take a bit longer than that with waiting for the ferry. But there we go. It seems to be working, Mikah. I'm happy.
Yay. I'm glad to hear that. And that it's actually working, that you're not kind of wondering, hey, is this thing is it just gimmicky, or is it actually doing what it's supposed to do? So that's great. And we'll have to continue to hear more about that. We have a few more stories we want to talk about real quick, including Apple, who has purchased Primephonic, which is a classical music service. This is a system, a service, an app, an online service that lets you have specifically classical music. And it's all sorts of classical music that you probably aren't going to find on typical music streaming services. Apple has acquired Primephonic. And it's interesting because it was an acquisition that totally makes sense in terms of Apple Music being a place for people to have a great classical music listening experience. But some of the way that Apple is handling the changeover is a little odd because it seems like Primephonic is going to be shut down before the new app or the new service that's sort of Apple Music Classical or whatever they end up calling it rolls out. And so there's going to be a period of time where folks who are subscribers to Primephonic are just kind of left in the dark until the service is fully rolled in. So it's a little odd to me that they're not choosing to just keep it going until the time comes. But there could be any number of reasons why this is the case.
I
mostly
suspect
surrounding
it's possibly
deals.
to do with, I was going to suspect it's to do with licensing agreements for the actual audio content itself, because, that costs money and has to be dealt with. And if Primephonic had deals with specific people that are coming to an end relatively soon, then it would make sense for them to do this. Hopefully it'll all get sorted out, and all of those classical music lovers, including myself, will be able to get everything through Apple Music in the not too distant future.
Yes. And then I think it pairs well with the fact that HomePod and HomePod Mini will soon offer lossless audio on those devices. And so you will be able to, at some point, this music that has been recorded in lossless format, you'll be able to listen to it at its full sort of digital audio quality. So that should be a nice pairing there. And I'm not surprised if Apple makes that a selling point for some folks. And we'll see. I'm curious to see if this is going to be part of the Apple One subscription, or if this will just be, if you've got an Apple Music subscription, then you have access to this classical music as well, or if they're going to make this a whole separate thing that you need to subscribe to. So that should be an interesting thing as Apple continues to really be bullish about its services. All right. Next thing is that Apple, by way of Tim Cook, has announced that they will be donating to Hurricane Ida relief and recovery efforts. So Apple tends to, when there are big disasters that take place, Apple tends to offer some assistance by way of by financial means. And so Tim Cook said that Apple will definitely be donating to help with taking care of everything that's happened as a result of Hurricane Ida.
Yeah. I have a friend, and I believe she said earlier a tornado missed her brother's house last night by yards, which is an offshoot of the hurricane. And so, this is affecting people I know, or people I know through people I know. I'm glad that Apple, as always, they always do this for disasters like this. And I'm glad that they are continuing this trend with Hurricane Ida, and will continue to do so by the looks of it.
Yeah, that is horrifying. Growing up in Missouri, we saw a lot of tornadoes, and tornadoes are not fun. And hurricanes, of course, are also awful, devastating things whenever they do reach land at the power that Hurricane Ida did. Next is an interesting one. So there was a class action lawsuit brought against Apple, talking about how Siri, by being accidentally activated when it thought that it heard its name, it heard that "hey" SIRI phrase, that it then recorded conversations. And because it used to be that it was just everybody was opted into this program where some conversations were sent to third-party folks who were checking the quality of Siri's responses. All of that kind of came together to result in a class action lawsuit. And I want to be clear about something before we continue on. This was a way that it used to be. Currently, you have to opt in if you want to send off your interactions with Siri to actual human beings who check them and try to make Siri better. But in the past, this was not opt-in. It just automatically was being done. And then when that was kind of reported on and disseminated, then people went, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. This is troublesome to me. This doesn't work for us." So class action came out saying, "Hey, I think this is a violation of our privacy if Siri is accidentally activated and it records our conversations and then sends those off." So they are the lawsuit went to a judge who was trying to determine kind of what is the scope of the class action. And this federal judge has said almost all of what's included in the class action is something that Apple is going to have to argue against. And so it's definitely going to be a big thing. Let me say, the judge said that plaintiffs may pursue claims that Apple violated the Federal Wiretap Act and California privacy law. So, I mean, those are two big things that could result in a lot of fines there.
No, I have a friend, her cat is gorgeous and her cat's name is Cherry. And so they say, "Hey, Cherry," when Cherry walks into a room. It is surprising the number of times their HomePods activate. And also whenever Cherry makes an appearance on camera, because, cats and keyboards, cats are always on keyboards. Whenever she walks on camera and I go, "Hey, Cherry," there's a 50-50 chance that my HomePod's going to respond, even though I'm not even talking to my cat. So there we go. But yeah, I suspect that there's going to be a lot of people doing this. Just as a reminder for folks, this is a class action lawsuit in the United States. If you are not in the United States, then this does not apply to you, and you will need to deal with your Apple yourself if you believe that you are entitled to something. This is, just the way lawsuits work, for better or for worse.
Indeed. All right. We are going to move along now to Shortcuts Corner. We'll have more news for you at our new time on Tuesday. So given that, we only have a short period of time between now and Tuesday, we've got a lot of stories that we'll talk to you about then. But I think I hear the music in the background because it's time for Shortcuts Corner. Hey, folks, this is the part of the show where Rosemary Orchard answers your shortcuts questions. You send in requests or thoughts or asks for help, and Rosemary helps you out. We've got one today from Antonio, who writes in and says, is there a way to share art cover in Twitter again from shortcuts? It seems that you can't do that from Apple Music to Twitter. I'll be the most grateful. So I think what Antonio is asking for here is a way to share album art on Twitter using shortcuts. Because right now, if you share a song from Apple Music directly to Twitter by hitting that share sheet button and then tapping Twitter, it doesn't pop up the album art as a photo. And instead, what will happen is that the social card that Twitter generates will have that album art, but it isn't as nice as it would be to just have the photo right there in the tweet with a link to the music. And so honestly, Antonio, I'm going to steal this shortcut if Rosemary has one for us, because I'm building it right now live on air because I realized I should probably put something in the show notes so that everybody can steal this. So I'm just going to type the word tweet and then we are good to share. So this is a shortcut that I've just started creating. I'm using iOS 15. This will work the same way on iOS 14. So I've set it up so that it works from the share sheet. So you share from Apple Music while Apple Music is playing. Theoretically, this should work from Spotify, but I'm not a Spotify user, so I can't verify that. And it gets album artwork from your shortcut input. So this is using an action called Get Details of Music. And Get Details of Music allows you to do things like get the artist, get the album that it's on, or in our case, we want the album artwork. And I'm adding this to a variable called tweet. And then we also need to add whatever text it is that you would want. Now, I'm not sure, Mikah, what kind of things would you want to share in the tweet for the music by default? Because I've got a lot of options here. This is media, of course, so I can do whatever I like. I think I would want to have the title of the song, the artist, and then a link to the music, along with, of course, the album art itself.
Okay, so what I've done here is I have put the shortcut input in this field. So I'm going to select the variable again and show you how I did that. And that's shortcut input right here at the top. And that's the thing that comes into our shortcut from the share sheet. Okay, so I've now got that in there twice, but you don't just leave this like it is. You tap on it. And this is in here twice. I'm actually going to delete one. There we go. And if I tap on it there we go. Sorry, it's having a moment, then you can see what exactly it's sharing, and it's defaulting to name and store URL. So I'm going to change this to name. I'm going to go back and hit return. If I say done there and close that, then I can select the variable again. And you need to do this multiple times for each piece of information that you'd like to share. So I'm going to select the artist and tap done, return, select the variable once more, shortcut input. And this time I am going to scroll down and store URL. Perfect. So now I have this and I've added this to a variable called tweet. Now this is using the add to variable action. I've used this twice. I've added the album artwork and I've added this text here that I've created. And now we need a tweet action. And so you can use Twitter or you can use Tweetbot. I like Tweetbot, so I'm going to crash shortcuts apparently and add the Tweetbot action. This is what happens when you're testing on a beta, people. That doesn't work. So I'm going to have to do this in Twitter, and that means that it won't work because I am not signed into the Twitter app right now on this iPhone. But if you tweet this, then it's going to tweet this variable for us, tweet, which has got all of this text added to it, and then it's got the album artwork as well. So now we can just name this tweet music. And voila, next time you're in music, then you can share your music to this shortcut and it will share the album artwork for you as well as the information. Now there is
Can
an
we have it
alternative.
show like a quick look, or I can't remember, like show what is the thing where, so just so we can see like what it would look like if it was there.
Yeah. So if we had a quick look, there's a couple of options here. I will use quick look because it does everything. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say ask for music, because this is a iOS 15 feature where you can say, hey, if there's no input, then ask somebody for this. So I'm going to have to pick something, and I'm going to pick something from the Baseballs. I'm going to pick Umbrella from the Baseballs. And this is kind of what it's showing up as for whatever reason. Let's see if this tweet works. It's not working super well. This is, I think, an iOS 15 issue where it's not managing to get the album artwork particularly well. But I will share this, and hopefully some fancy people can have a play with it. But what you could also do, which may be worth doing, is just modify this to get the album artwork and copy it to your clipboard. And then it will finish the shortcut. Then you can use the standard option and just paste, which could work too. So there's plenty of different ways to do this, but hopefully this will be a good start at the very least for people who I know are excited to dive into shortcuts.
Yes, I dig it. I will definitely have to try that. I think what I'll do is give that a go with the copy and paste thing, because I think I wonder if it's the Twitter can't receive that image for some reason. But I'll try it on my device that's running iOS 14 instead of the most recent version, just to see if it's also just an iOS 15 thing. All right, folks, we're going to take one more quick break before we come back with our feedback and questions and our app caps to round out the show. I want to tell you about AT&T, because this podcast is supported by AT&T. If there are friends and family members you haven't talked to in a while, well, don't worry. It's never too late to reconnect. To help, AT&T is offering deals on the latest smartphones. It's not complicated. Everyone deserves something new. So AT&T is giving new and existing customers their best deals on every smartphone, even the latest ones. Restrictions and exceptions may apply. Just visit att.com for details. And thanks so much to AT&T for sponsoring this week's episode of iOS Today. All right, we've got one question this week from Bill. We'll answer even more feedback on Tuesday. But Bill says, my wife is afraid to upgrade to a new watch. She's scared she will lose her streaks. Is this automatically saved to iCloud, or would something else need to be done? Bill, this is a fantastic question, because it's a fear that a lot of people have, and it's one that I've had in the past as well. You spend every day working up those streaks, getting those streaks set up. You close all your rings, and you want to keep that going. And in the past, the syncing issues that have come up have resulted in some people losing their streaks or having issues there. And then they are very upset because all of that data that they had was lost. So I totally understand where that concern comes from for Bill's wife. We've included, and we'll include in the show notes, a great article from Apple Support. It's entitled Back Up Your Apple Watch. It starts with telling you about how Apple actually backs up your data, how the Apple Watch backs up your data, sort of what is saved and what's not. And then it goes on to say what the backup includes and then what it doesn't include. So you can see at the bottom, it says Bluetooth pairings, credit or debit cards that are used for Apple Pay on your Apple Watch, the passcode for your Apple Watch, and messages, because those are, of course, saved with your iPhone or in iCloud. So everything else that is part of your backup is included in that backup. So if you follow the process that it says for actually backing up your data, then you can use that. But there's also one other thing that I would suggest doing, and now I've got to remember where this feature is. For some reason, that support article is not loading for me. There is a way to export all of your health data, and I'm just trying to remember. Here we go. So if you launch the health app on your iPhone and you tap in the top right corner, you will get the sort of health information that is your health profile. And you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can choose Export All Health Data. It's going to take a minute to do. But once it's done, it creates a document that you can just save somewhere. And this is just kind of to have that saved in case you absolutely need it. But as you can see, it says health data was last backed up at 10:21 a.m. because your health data is saved to iCloud when your iPhone is connected to power and Wi-Fi, meaning that with every iCloud backup you're doing, that information is being saved. So if your wife is using iCloud backup for their phone and the Apple Watch is paired to that phone, all that data is going to be there. And when you go through to set up a new Apple Watch, there are a couple of ways to do it. And one of those ways is you can either set up the watch as new or bring in the Apple Watch backup. What you want to do is plug your iPhone in, go into the settings app and tap on your name at the top and then choose iCloud. And then once you're in iCloud, you can see here, you choose iCloud backup and then you choose backup now. Let that backup finish. Then get the new Apple Watch and tap to set it up. And whenever it comes time and it says, do you want to set this up as new or do you want to use a backup? Make sure that the backup that's listed there is the same time as that backup that you did finished. That's how you can make sure that you're doing the most recent one versus one from before. And if it doesn't load, then go ahead and do another iCloud backup and make sure. So Apple Watch on the charger, iPhone plugged in, iCloud backup. And then when you do the adding of an Apple Watch, make sure that it's the most recent one. And of course, this is done after you've gone ahead and exported your health data separately and you've got it kind of locked away.
Yeah, I actually used to use a different app and I've just managed to close it. So I will follow up with that next week. There's a couple of apps in the App Store. The one I am thinking of was a health export app that exports to CSV and JSON files. It also has shortcut support, which allows you to automatically export things from the health app, which is really useful, especially if you need to be able to export data on a regular basis, say for your GP, which some of us may need to do. And my GP asked me to track my blood pressure recently, and I was able to go, I have a health kit enabled blood pressure monitor, so I can do that. And it was really lovely to just be able to go, and here's the information you requested. So, yes.
Very nice. All right, folks. I can hear some more music coming in because it's time for App Caps. I can't remember if I just did this hat. I hope not.
No, you did not just do this hat. At least not with me.
Folks, this is the part of the show where we wear silly caps atop our head to honor our app picks of the week. Rosemary and I are feeling very feline today. And we are honoring the gadgets or apps that we want to share with all of you that we think are great and are worth your time. So Rosemary Orchard, tell me about the cap atop your head and tell me about your app pick of the week. Or again, could be a gadget.
Yes. My app cap this week, or my hat for the app cap this week, is not really a hat. It's not really a cap. It's a headband with cat ears on. But I'd like to point out that my students voted me one of the best dressed teachers for Fancy Dress Day when I wore this. So nice. I also had tail and I drew some whiskers on my face because it was Halloween. So why not? But my app cap this week is a little bit of a story. So I recently lost my AirPods and I knew they were somewhere in my house. I've been using them somewhere near the sofa and they just kind of went missing. And I assumed I must have put them in one of the boxes that I keep on the shelves there, but I couldn't find them. And I realized that there's a problem with AirPods. Find My works when the AirPods aren't in the case, but it doesn't work when they are in the case. So in advance of finding them, because I knew I was going to find them, they were there somewhere, I went on Amazon and I found this little guy. This is a Spigen and it's an ultra fit case. So it's a lovely sort of, in my case, this one is a green and it's a lovely sort of tweed fabric-y color.
That is
cover. So it doesn't just slide off. It's a beautiful dark green. It's got a little grippy bit around the edge. There's a hole at the bottom for your AirPod, for the lightning connector. I've actually got a magnetic charging cable in there. It comes with a carabiner and what's this? I've attached an AirTag using a Belkin keychain holder. So the case is $22.99 on Amazon. Amazon. And the Belkin tag holder is about $12 as well. But they also do ones of these for the AirPods Pro. But Spigen, the company who makes these cases, also have a specific case, which I've not bought, but I thought, Mikey, you might be interested in. This is the Spigen Tag Armor Duo, and it's got an AirPod spot on the front of the case. So it's, it's got everything built in. Personally, I quite like having the AirTag separately. I feel like it's more likely that I'm going to be able to spot this because it does just make things a little bit bigger, but not so big that I need to worry about it taking up space. That said, women's clothing tends not to have pockets, so it's never like this is going to go in pockets for me. It's always going to go in my bag. And that's one of the reasons why I have the carabiner on this. I do love Tom Bim bags with their O-rings, so I can just clip it to an O-ring near the top of my bag, and I can always find my AirPods really easily. But I'm pleased to report, Micah, I found my AirPods.
So pretty. Yay.
I bought the case. I attached the AirTag to it in advance. I hadn't found the AirPods. And then last weekend, I had a bit of a cleanup in my living room. I moved the shelving unit that the baskets were on, and it was underneath there, off under the sofa. So I found it, and I opened it, and then all of my devices immediately screamed out in unison, "Hey, your AirPods have been found." Yes,
oh, brother.
I know. Yes, I know. And now next time I lose them, I can make this little AirTag ring. So I'm pretty happy about that, Micah.
Yeah, that is a gorgeous case. That's like the
it's a
color.
lovely green. I should also mention that these cases, unlike the cases that I was using before, which were the pop socket ones where you could attach a pop socket to the back or attach into a pop socket keychain, these ones are actually Qi charging compatible. So even though I've got a magnetic charging cable at the bottom, I can also just pop them on a Qi charger. I've got one here on my desk. I pop it on, and oh, look at that, my AirPods Pro are charging. So it's great. And now I have all of the AirPods ready for whenever I need audio.
Very nice. Very, very nice. And let's see. Did you go through the prices on those?
So the only one I didn't mention the price on was the Spigen Tag Armor Duo, which has got the AirTag spot in it. That is $24.99. The green case and the purple case are $22.99 each-ish. Prices slightly vary depending on which color and which AirPods you get them for. And they get the Belkin tag or something similar to hold your AirTag cheaply off Amazon. Don't buy it from the Apple Store. It's much cheaper on Amazon. And these ones, I just happen to have some Belkin ones lying around that my parents didn't want, so I use those. But yeah, they're about $12.
Gotcha. All right. That is very cool. My app cap this week is one that's called Playbyte. This app recently launched, and it is an app that makes use of, for the most part, emoji, but also some other things, some sort of different imports that you can do to have assets where you can play games that other people have published or create your own. And so this is all about making and playing games. Now, this first one here is a little violent, so we're going to go past that one. But let's see Life Sim Part 1. These are games that other people have published. And so I'm going to tap on this one. We'll start by playing one of the games, and then I'll show you creation of a game. So if I tap on this, then I can play, well, maybe. Why is that not loading? Oh, this is upsetting. It was working. All right. Well, I'll show you how to create a game then. In the middle is the plus button that lets you create a game. And there are different options. You can either do a collection game where you're going around and collecting items. And once you've collected all the items, then you beat the game. The get to the goal option, which is, of course, trying to get to the goal or beat the boss. So we're going to do a collect them all. And to start out, you have your little character in the middle. And you can change how your character looks. So you can choose emoji, you can use an image, or you can choose text for it. So I think my character is going to be the star emoji, the star eyes emoji. And then we will tap out of that. And you can see here that there are different layers as well. So you can move it to the back, to the front. You can copy the character. You can add different elements as well. You can change the background, as you want. There we go. And so what I'm going to do is add some other option, or that's actually another layer. I'm going to add some more of these different things in the background is what I'm trying to say. So I tapped the plus button at the bottom, and you can see you can add more players. You can add other things to collect. You can add hazards. You can add blades, enemies, a button that does different things, a lock and a key, a barrier they can't get around, something that's movable, something that's breakable, something that kind of wanders around, patrol, an NPC character, and something that can be held, as well as a sticker. So what I'll do is I'll put a hazard. So we'll make it fire, and we'll put it in front of this diamond. So put the diamond at the top, put the fire in front. And then we want to do that again. Oops. And then also along with this, there are different rules that you can set up. So what I just did was I tapped on the fire and down at the bottom, you can see the rule. When I collide, if other is a boss, then destroy other, meaning if the thing that it collides with is a boss, then it would destroy the boss. But in this case, we would want to edit this rule and say, if the other is A and the condition is A and the target is self or other, and then the label there is player. When I collide, if other is a player, then destroy other, in this case, the player. So then we will go, let me see, I'm trying to remember. There we go. I can hit play. So you put your finger on the screen to move your character around, and I can collect my diamonds. You can see, but let's see what happens whenever I hit this fire. Oh, I've been destroyed, and it starts over. So you start to set up your game, and you get all of these different layers and these conditions that you can set up. So you can create a pretty cool game pretty quick that's available here. There we go. Now I'm playing this one. So the milk is behind the barrier. I'm going to click to cry for the milk, and then I got the milk. Now that I'm age 1, I'm learning how to walk. So I'm moving around this barrier. And we're going around here. As I put my finger on the screen, it's making the movements happen. You can see if you're watching to sort of get around this maze here. And we'll go up. And now I've got to mom and dad. Objective, get the plush. Who should I ask for a plushie? Well, I have a feeling that there's going to be some sexism in this game. So I'm going to choose to ask the mom for the plushie. That's my fault. I assumed that the creator was sexist, and dad gave me the plushie.
Yeah. Dangerous assumptions there, Micah.
You're right.
But hey, at least the dad's got you back in this game. And, it's always good when parents have their kids back.
Hey, thanks, Dad, for the little teddy bear. At age 5, I need to figure out the right answer here. So we'll choose 2, and then we can exit. And then age 15, get a girlfriend. I guess it would be the one that's waving at me, right?
Yep.
And then I beat the game. Yay. And then they've got a part 2. So that's just one example. But these are all different games that are trending right now. And this one's very clear. Like, hey, there's blood in this game, so just be careful. And there are a bunch of different games that are available. But again, I think the fun thing about this Playbyte is that you can create your own games with all these different little conditions. So there's a little bit of learning to program while you're creating a game. And then maybe you make it to the trending page, which would be really cool to do. And then it's got, you can see the UI on the right is a lot like TikTok. There's a heart, there's a comment, and there's a share button. And then it's got a built-in integration with Discord so that you can join the Playbyte Discord. That's available for free completely in the App Store to download. You can check it out there and create your own games. And hey, if you're listening, like a listener to iOS Today, and you create a game, share it with us, either in the iOS Today Discord, or you can share it with us via email, iOStoday@twit.tv, because we'd love to check out those games, and I'd love to give them a go myself. All right, that brings us to the end of this episode of iOS Today. So I can tell you once again, if you've got questions or Shortcuts Corner requests or any of that, you can send those to iostoday@twit.tv. You can always tune in live to watch the show if you'd like by going to twit.tv/live. Right now, Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. But starting next week, we're back to 9 a.m. Pacific on Tuesdays. So it's back to the old time that we had when Leo and I did the show. So shouldn't be too confusing for those of you who have long been listeners. But hey, you don't have to tune in when we're recording. You can also subscribe to the show and get it whenever. So you do that by going to twit.tv/iOS and clicking to subscribe in either audio or video. We've got Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those different places where you maybe subscribe to the show in, as I said, audio and video formats. I spoke of the Discord earlier. That is something you can be a part of by joining Club Twit and supporting us directly. Club Twit is a great way to help support Twit. You are going to get all of the shows ad-free. So you won't listen to the ads. You'll get just that streamlined content. You also get access to the members only Twit Plus bonus feed that has outtakes, behind the scenes stuff, and special content from the host that you're not going to find anywhere else. And then last but not least is access to the members only Discord server. So fun. You can chat with us hosts. You can chat with other Twit folks and also your fellow Club Twit members. If that sounds good to you, and I don't see why it wouldn't, and you want that warm, fuzzy feeling, $7 a month, twit.tv/clubtwit. $7 a month at twit.tv/clubtwit. We'd love to have you be a direct supporter of the network and also get to chat with you in the Discord. It's a lot of fun there. All right, Rosemary Orchard, if folks want to follow you online and check out all the great work you're doing, where do they go to do that?
The best place is rosemaryorchard.com, has links to podcasts, books, and of course, me on social media. If you want to go straight to Twitter or marco.blog, you can find me with the username Rosemary Orchard. Micah, what about you?
I am at Micah Sargent on many a social network, or you can head to chihuahua.coffee, CHIHUA.coffee, where I've got links to the places I'm most active online. And we thank you for tuning in today to iOS Today. And we are looking forward to seeing you Tuesdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, live and in color, as we always are, but at an earlier time on an earlier day of the week. So stay tuned for that. And we thank you again for being here with us. Goodbye.
So you got yourself the brand new latest and greatest iPhone or Samsung smartphone because you heard about all of the beautiful photography those things can create. But for some reason, you're just not quite getting it done when you try to make your photos. Or you got yourself a brand new camera because you were interested in getting started in photography, but your little new inexpensive camera still isn't quite cutting it. Well, you need to check out my show, Hands-on Photography, here on Twit. I'm going to show you how to be a better photographer and a better post-processor, and quite frankly, just help you get the most out of that new camera that's either on your phone or the brand new one that you just got for your birthday or gifts or what have you. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So head on over to twit.tv/hop. That's twit.tv/HOP and subscribe today.